Because I knew you.
You're the only friend I ever had.
Because I knew you. And I've had so many friends. I haven't changed for you. The only one that mattered.
Welcome back to the Nerdy Grail and a bit of a Wicked themed video here for you today, which is why I've got my View Cinema movie cut from Wicked, which is still a fantastic cut, by the way. I love this. It's probably my favourite of all the cinema cuts I've got. I've got my Wicked 4K, my Wicked 4K Steelbook, and my Wicked from Wicked Part 1, the vinyl soundtrack. Because last week on the 5th of June, Universal put out the trailer, the first official trailer for Wicked Part 2, or what is actually titled as Wicked for Good, which in today's video we will do a bit of a breakdown for, and I will give you my thoughts on the trailer. We'll watch it together. But all I wanted to do in today's video was, after that announcement, it is a movie that is on my priority list to see this year, and I am excited to see it ever since my fiance showed me the Wicked musical last year, and then we went to the cinema to watch Wicked Part 1, or just Wicked. You know, I am looking forward to it, but I would like to do a bit of a discussion, a bit of a prediction video today, just to give you my overall thoughts. We'll have a little look at some articles, have a little look at the trailer that released a couple of days ago, just to give you my thoughts, what I'm looking forward to about the movie, any predictions I might have, and just to see what you guys think, really. So let's waste no more time, and we're going to start by having a little look at the article, which will give us a bit of information about what Wicked for Good is actually about. Okay then, so we are on the Rotten Tomatoes website to have a little look at an article relating to the new Wicked for Good. So, to start with, we've got everything we know. Wicked for Good, release date, cast, trailers, and more. So they break down the story, who's in it, and if we'll see any changes from the original play, by James Grube on June 9th, 2025. So here they've got a link to the trailer, but we're going to do the trailer in a separate section, so we're not going to have a look at the trailer. But then it says, something has changed, there's now a trailer and a new teaser for Wicked for Good. The highly anticipated conclusion of the big screen adaptation of the beloved Broadway musical, which I adored the musical, I thought it was brilliant. A reimagined backstory of the so-called Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. Wicked's first film installment premiered in 2024 to great box office success and general acclaim. The sequel, which covers Act 2 of the musical, was filmed concurrently with the first movie and is slated to hit theatres 1 year later, opening before Thanksgiving. Before it opens, you can find everything you need to know about Wicked for Good by scrolling down and having a little look. So we will have a little look. So it says, when will Wicked for Good come out? Wicked for Good will hit theatres on November 21st, 2025. This puts its release almost a year to the day after the first Wicked's premiere, as that film opened on the 22nd of November, I believe. Wicked for Good will initially be exclusively viewable in theatres and won't arrive on VOD or streaming until sometime later. For reference, the first Wicked was available on VOD after a month in theatres, and it was streaming on Peacock by the end of March, 4 months after the theatrical release. So they might keep this one a little bit longer. So who's directing it? Got a nice little picture here. John M. Chu, who directed Wicked, also directed Wicked for Good. He directed both films at the same time. In fact, as they were filmed concurrently, filming for both movies began in late 2022 and wrapped in early 2024. Though it would have been completed earlier had it not been for the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strikes. Yeah, all those dreaded strikes that happened. They needed to happen, but yeah, obviously it did put a little bit of a pause on the film industry. So who's in it? Pretty much the entire cast of Wicked returns to Wicked for Good, which makes sense since it's the second half of the story, and all actors film the two movies at the same time. Cynthia Erivo reprises her role of Elphaba Frop, the green-skinned student of Shiz University, who became known as the Wicked Witch of the West when she spurned the corrupt wizard offer to use her magic to help rule Oz. Ariana Grande once more plays Galinda Upland, the popular young woman who was initially a rival to Elphaba before they became fast friends. While Elphaba left the Emerald City, a conflicted Glinda stayed behind, putting her on opposite sides of her dear friend. Both Erivo and Grande were nominated for Oscars Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, respectively, for their performances in the first film. And yeah, I generally think they both did a very fantastic job. Obviously, there was a little bit of controversy at the time when it came to posters and stuff like that. Lots of things came out to start with. But I think in terms of the film itself, I thought they were done really well. Jeff Goldblum reprises his role as the wonderful Wizard of Oz, the seemingly benevolent and whimsical ruler of Oz, who is revealed to be a charlatan, repressing the magical land's talking animals. Michelle Yeoh plays Madame Morrible, the Dean of Sorcery at Sirius University, who is working with the wizard. And both of them did fantastic jobs as well, and there's a nice image of them both there. Jonathan Bailey plays Fiyero, the handsome and confident Winkle Prince, who has an unlikely bond with Elphaba. Marissa Bode plays Elphaba's sister, Nessa Rose, who uses a wheelchair, while Ethan Slater plays Bock Woodsman, a munchkin with an unrequited crush on Glinda. Bowen Yang and Bronwyn James return as two of Glinda's friends. Nice image there of Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh as the wizard and Madame Morrible. So what is it about? Okay, and yeah, I remember the show, and I thought it was really, really good, but it'd be nice to have a little bit of a refresher. So it says it's an adaptation of the Broadway play, which is itself based on the 1995 novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So Wicked follows Elphaba and Glinda. They go to school, become unlikely friends, and become the Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda the Good. The plot of Wicked for Good is hardly a secret. Millions of people have seen the events play out on the stage over the past several decades. But if you don't know how the story ends and you want spoilers, not hard to find, we'll just leave you with the official synopsis that teases the upcoming action quite nicely, per Universal. So it says, Elphaba, now demonized as the Wicked Witch of the West, lives in exile, hidden with the Oziron Forest, while continuing her fight for the freedom of Oz's silenced animals and desperately trying to expose the truth she knows about the wizard. Glinda, meanwhile, has become the glamorous symbol of goodness for all of Oz, living at the palace in Emerald City and reveling in the perks of fame and popularity. Under the instruction of Madame Morrible, Glinda is deployed to serve as the effervescent comfort to Oz, reassuring the masses that all is well under the rule of the wizard. As Glinda's stardom expands and she prepares to marry Prince Fiyero in a spectacular Ozian wedding, she is haunted by the separation from Elphaba. She attempts to broker a conciliation between Elphaba and the wizard, but those efforts will fail, driving Elphaba and Glinda only further apart. The aftershocks will transform Bock and Fiyero forever and threaten the safety of Elphaba's sister, Nessa Rose, when a girl from Kansas comes crashing into all their lives. As an angry mob rises against the Wicked Witch, Glinda and Elphaba will need to come together one final time with their singular friendship, now the fulcrum of their futures. They will need to truly see each other with honesty and empathy if they are to change themselves and all of Oz for good. Which, yeah, I love that. We are getting, and if you watch the trailers, you know we are getting a bit of the plot of Wizard of Oz, which does happen in the second act. So we're going to get Dorothy, Tin Man, Lion, Scarecrow, and all those can be seen in the trailer. Will there be any changes from the play? The first Wicked covered the first act of the play and ended with Defying Gravity, an absolute showstopper of a song and by far the play's most iconic moment. It was a great way to end a movie, but that's potentially a problem for Wicked for Good, since the consensus is that Act 1 of the play is better than Act 2. To that end, there are going to be a few additions to the story, and they've got to. One, to make it a bit more movie length, and also, yeah, to try and make it stand apart from the stage play, and obviously if they've got to compete with Act 1, they need to be able to do that. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Chu suggested that Wicked for Good would show more of what Elphaba is up to than the stage production did. I think anyone who knows the second act wants a bit more of what Elphaba has been through. It felt right to see what it feels like to lead that life, to go into no good deed and decide you know what. If they want me to be wicked, I will be wicked. What kind of decisions does she make when she's not within the Emerald City or participating as part of society? We will get to see her rebel base, and we get to go there. Additionally, there are 2 new original songs that will be added to the film. One is Elphaba's, with Erivo telling Variety that the entire crew was in tears when they filmed her singing it, adding that it speaks to the heart of who Elphaba is. Grande's Glinda sings the other, which she told Variety shows a side of her that we've never seen before. Which, you know, yeah, they're going to have a new song each. You know, 2 of our core characters, 2 of the best singing voices. They're going to have to do that. And then finally, The first trailer for Wicked for Good was released on June 4th or June 5th, depending on where you were. The fairly action-packed short teases a lot of scenes and songs that the fans of the stage production are likely to look forward to, as well as a few new additions. For an instance, Elphaba saying, "I'm off to see the wizard," an iconic Wizard of Oz line that is not in the play. And just yesterday, the official teaser with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo singing "Because I Knew You" was released. Additionally, there's a poster which released in May and has Elphaba and Glinda looking at each other from opposite cliffs, with the yellow brick road between them and the Emerald City in the distance. Wicked for Good lands in theatres November 21st. So it all sounds really exciting. They're going to be taking stuff from the stage play, you know, doing the new adaptation, but they're going to also make this film one of their own. And I think that's really, really good. Obviously, it does mean that anyone who's a hardcore fan of the stage play, they might have some issues with the changes, and hopefully the changes are for the good. I kind of hope we get a little bit more Wizard of Oz stuff, because I'm a massive fan of the Wizard of Oz. You know, I loved Wicked, don't get me wrong, but I did want to see a little bit more of Dorothy and how Elphaba's version of the Wicked Witch interacts with her. So I'm really hoping that we get that in this film, and by the sounds of it, we potentially might be. But speaking of said trailers, because we have got the trailers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, we're going to load up the trailer, we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown and a mini reaction, even though the trailer's been out for a few days, and I'll just give you my thoughts, give you some more predictions, and just my overall excitement for the future of Wicked and Wicked for Good. So, like I said, now that we've looked at an article for Wicked, we're now going to take a look at the Wicked for Good official trailer, which dropped about 5 days ago now, on the 5th of June, I believe, like the 4th to 5th of June it dropped, and we got a good look at the characters, a bit of the plot line, and a tease at some of the songs that's going to be in it. So we're just going to watch the trailer together, and I'm just going to make a couple of comments as we go along about my thoughts, whether I'm excited, and what I think might be going on. It was a really good trailer, and I know that the internet has gone a bit crazy for it, because Wicked was, you know, a fan favourite from last year. I quite like that imagery to start with in the trailer, because for me, you know, getting the cracked glass, I sort of get the vibes of the cracked relationship that now Elphaba and Glinda have with each other, where obviously they started as best friends, but then obviously now their paths are going two different ways because of all the events that happened at the end of Wicked, but hopefully they'll try and reconcile with each other, and there's elements of that in this trailer, but we'll have to wait and see. There's old Ariana Grande.
Elphaba Throb, I know you're out here.
I love that. She's got that vibe. She knows her friend, so to speak. And I love the fact that she's now living at large, you know, in Emerald City with the wizard and all, when obviously it was Elphaba in the first movie who was getting all that attention and had the powers and had this and had that and was getting the invitations to the Emerald City. And now it's, you know, it's Glinda who's getting all of that.
Just come in before the monkeys spot you.
Nice.
There's no going back.
I also like this as well, this old, well, it looks like she's living in that, like, enchanted or creepy forest or whatever. This looks like a makeshift little hut, a makeshift little house, you know, there's vines everywhere, clothes on there, you know, maybe a little desk by there, what it looks like. There might be, like, some potions and bits on there, because obviously she's gone full witch now, you know, almost by, not necessarily by choice, well, she's felt like she's had to go down this path now.
This is between us, the wizard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look, it's like she's creating things, and she's now got that rivalry between her and the wizard. I like that as well, because that's in Munchkin Land, isn't it? Is that Munchkin Land there? And then you got, yeah, Beware the Wicked Witch. So obviously now she's a well-known and regarded figure, but that's the way that the wizard has painted Elphaba and how the people have painted Elphaba now in regards to it, even though that's not necessarily the truth, which is what I like about Wicked, is that you get to see that she wasn't truly wicked, you know? You get to see her from a different light. Because if you've only watched, like, the original Wizard of Oz, or, you know, you've only seen a couple of versions of it, you don't really know a different way of seeing the witch. So it's quite interesting to see.
The Wicked Witch can't elude us forever.
I can't believe that she's... I can believe that she's sort of turned on her, you know. And look at them all. I like that. Wizomania, look at them all. They're all a bit deluded because they don't know the truth about the wizard, really.
Not with Prince Fiero and his squadron hot on her trail.
That's the wizard, obviously. I'm guessing, you're behind that big contraption that you normally see, where it's all illusion, to make him seem all grand, make him seem all big and powerful, so that's obviously him at the controls from behind. I like the new outfit because it's a darker coat, because obviously in the first part, it was lighter green. So it's almost like now that he sort of revealed his identity as being a bit more of a manipulative or darker character who's, known for lying and twisting the truth. They've almost like represented that in the clothes that he wears.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz. No one believes in you more than I.
Our wizard lies, and I wonder if anyone's actually going to believe her. I must admit, I quite like the new look for Elphaba. The longer hair, the tattered coat, the pointy hat. I like the design that they've got, and it's a cool shot there with the Emerald City in the background. Really cool.
Elphaba. They're coming for you.
Universal Pictures presents.
That people come into our lives for a reason.
I hope you get what your heart desires, Glinda. I like that. It's nice to see that their relationship is still going decently strong in this movie as well. I quite like that. I love the songs. The songs are great. It's why I had to get the vinyl soundtrack as well, because I wasn't really sure if I was going to enjoy it. Because I'm not really one for musicals, but I've loved all the musicals that I've seen so far, and Wicked is up there. It's very good.
I know who I am today because I knew you.
Yeah.
Think of what we could do.
That's going to be the defying gravity, of this version, not this version, this part of the movie. That's going to be like the big song that people are going to be like belting out.
Together. Like a tall from as it passes the sun.
Are they going to actually get married? I'm trying to, obviously, I have seen the stage play, but it's still a bit hazy. I've only seen it once. I need to see things multiple times in order for it to fully all sink in. I just remember bits and pieces. And also they'll change bits and pieces for the movie as well. So I will be interested to see what actually happens. But yeah, obviously they're trying to go ahead of the wedding. Is that Dorothy? I think that's supposed to be Dorothy. The ruby slippers, or what aren't the ruby slippers. That's what they're supposed to be, I think. That's what it's meant to be. A version of it. And there they are. So, what have we got there? I'm trying to have a little look and see. If we go back a bit. So obviously it's in Munchkin Land, so that's obviously the part where they've just sent Dorothy off to see the wizard. Obviously after maybe seeing Elphaba and speaking to Glinda, because you got Toto. Toto's on a leash. Yeah, so that they've just sent Dorothy on her way. I'm wondering who they're going to get to play Dorothy. I'm not sure if that's been released yet, but I'm interested to see who does that. I've heard some theories, but we'll see how it turns out in the end. Ooh, that's going to be a nice little dance number with Elphaba. That's Elphaba, isn't it? That's Elphaba, Glinda, and the wizard. So that's interesting that they are all together there. Yeah, and then you've got the plot line of Wizard of Oz then, because you've got Dorothy, Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Bring Me the Broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. So I wonder how much of the Wizard of Oz is actually going to be implemented in this, because I know in the stage play there wasn't an awful lot. There was a little bit, but there wasn't a dramatic change. I wonder how much there's going to be of this. Oh, look at that Cowardly Lion. Look at that face. He's so sad. Oh, Tin Man, Dorothy. They're obviously still hiding Dorothy's face.
For a while there.
Ooh, interesting.
But you changed.
Nice, interesting. So he is gonna go against the wizard by the looks of it, and at least partly team up with Elphaba for a bit of the movie.
I have changed. It's time for both of us to fly.
Yeah.
Because I knew you.
And yeah, this is gonna
You're
be
the only friend I ever had.
this is gonna be the song, like Defying Gravity.
I knew you. And I have so many friends. I haven't changed for good. But only one that mattered.
I'm off to see the wizard.
Yeah, and they said obviously in the article that I'm off to see the wizards a little bit different, and also I love that the almost the Thor hammer to my hand, you know, bringing the broom. You know, she's cool, Elphaba. They do really make her out to be a cool character.
I'm off to see the wizard.
And that's a cool shot. That is a really cool shot of Elphaba flying around, you know, with the flying monkeys as well. And yeah, like they said, November 21st, literally a day between the first one and the second one coming out. Literally, with, you know, so you've got a year. So it's really good that you were able to stick to that. I mean, fingers crossed, hopefully nothing happens that requires it to be delayed. But yeah, really, really good. I enjoyed that trailer. Some great shots. You know, like I said, I want to know what's going to happen now. You know, I want to know, you know, how much of the Wizard of Oz are we going to get? Who's going to play Dorothy? You know, how is this going to end? Is it going to end the same way as the stage play, or is it going to be slightly different? But that is what we're going to discuss in the final part of this video. So I'm going to pause the video, we're going to come together, and I'm going to give just a quick final thoughts on Wicked for Good. So just to finish off this video, I just thought I'd go over a little bit about what I'm hoping for when it comes to Wicked for Good. Well, firstly, I'm hoping that it's going to be just as good, if not better, than the original. I know a lot of people say, and from articles that I've read, that they slightly do prefer Act 1 as opposed to Act 2, because obviously Act 2 goes more down the traditional route with Wicked, goes more down, obviously they play on the Wizard of Oz, and Elphaba's obviously seen as the Wicked Witch, which you've seen time and time again, whereas obviously Act 1, you see it from a different angle. You see Elphaba getting along with people, you see them, you know, they obviously treat her differently to start with, but then they grow to her, so it's quite nice, and it's a bit of a change of pace, so I can see why some people prefer Part 1 over Part 2, so I'm hoping that it will still be really, really good. I am, though, hoping that we will see a lot of the Wizard of Oz stuff. Maybe we'll get to see proper scenes. It'll act a little bit longer. We'll obviously get proper people who play Dorothy and Tin Man and Scarecrow and stuff. So I'm hoping that will be really, really good, because I'd like to see this version of Elphaba and Galinda take on Dorothy and the crew, because I think that would be really, really interesting. I would be interested to see what are the new additional scenes and content that goes on in this movie, and how this movie's going to end. Is it going to end the same way that the stage play does, or the musical, or the show that's on stage? Is it going to end the same way as that, or is it going to be a bit different for the movie? You know, I really do want to see how it goes, to be honest. And are the songs going to live up to the songs from the first movie? Because, you know, Defying Gravity, like, shot through the charts and everybody loves it. And that's why, like, the CDs and the vinyls went through the roof. So is the songs in this movie going to live up to that hype? And are the new songs that they've added going to bring value to the movie? Or is it going to be a detriment to the movie? So we're just going to have to wait and see. And what would I give it? A rating out of 10, like a predicted rating out of 10, and see if I can stick with that for when the movie eventually comes out. I know it's the end of November, but I will revisit this and see what I rated it. I'm going to predict that I'm going to give Wicked Part 2 a 7 out of 10. Now, that might seem low, that might seem high to some people, but I think it's going to be a bit of an enjoyable one nonetheless. But we're going to see if that rating holds up true when the movie comes out in November. But that is going to be my prediction, reaction, and discussion video on Wicked for Good. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please like it by giving it a thumbs up. And comment down below your thoughts on Wicked for Good. What's your thoughts on Wicked? Are you going to see this one? Have you seen the stage show? What did you think of it? And subscribe if you are new. But for now, this is Nerdy Grail signing off. I hope you've had an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.